The 150th season of professional baseball is finally upon us. Welcome to Red Storm Wheelhouse. I'm Anthony Baventa, and my panel and I will discuss the ins, the outs, and all of the excitement surrounding this upcoming Major League Baseball season. Later on, we will get an update on St. John's baseball and softball from Dario Tolentino. Plus, we will hear from SJU Red Zone recapping this past year in campus sports. Now, let's get to it. Three American League teams won 100 games last year, and one of them was the New York Yankees. While amassing an incredible record, the likes of Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Gary Sanchez helped them break the all-time team home run record at 267 home runs. Unfortunately, the Yankee season was ended in the division series by the eventual world champion Boston Red Sox. I am still disgusted. Across the river, the Mets are looking to bounce back from a 77-win season. They'll need Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard to lead them to a second National League East Division crown in 5 years. So much to anticipate this year, and I cannot do it alone. Joining me today are Jordan Malik and Missy Dunlop. How are you guys today?
Doing good.
Doing good. I'm excited to talk about some baseball today.
I am too, yeah, for sure.
It's America's pastime. You have to keep it's a great discussion.
Yes,
great,
of course.
Great discussion. So I'd like to kick off this program with a couple of the top questions that I figured for this upcoming 2019 season. So with big stars like Manny Machado and Bryce Harper headlining this past offseason, how do you guys feel this offseason went, like in your opinion?
Complicated and messy is two good adjectives to describe it, for sure.
Very much. The one thing that you learned in this offseason, in my mind, is that free agency is becoming very dated. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the agents and some of the players have not gotten with the program, with the owners at all. Because you look at it now, Craig Kimbrell and Dallas Keuchel, big-time stars, still do not have jobs. Yeah. And it's really, really just crazy. But Donnie, your team, the Philadelphia Phillies, practically won the offseason.
I think it's like you can't name another winner of the offseason without the Philadelphia Phillies being in that conversation. Because, yeah, we got Bryce Harper, but it goes so much beyond that. We got Andrew McCutchen now leading off our team. Gene Segura, we traded him for J.P. Crawford. And then we got Bryce in the 3-hole and Rhys Hoskins backing him up. So now that team, that whole lineup, 1 to 8, there is no one that you fear all of them. We have the hottest eight hitter in the league in Maikel Franco, who he's already leading the league in walks. That's how good he's doing. And
to see your favorite team, the New York Mets.
Mets.
A new general manager, and basically the rest is history.
Yeah.
With Brody Van Wagenen is done.
So I think a lot of Mets fans thought that with Brody coming in that this was going to be a rebuilding season, but what I love about Brody is that he is saying that it's not a rebuilding season, it is still a winning season as the Mets, and he did prove himself. I was always a fan of Sandy Alderson. I thought he was a good GM. But he did play it safe. I think a lot of times he could have made more of an attack the way that Brody did. A lot of people think the Cano signing was a little silly still because they're
A little.
I think Cano could be a good utility player, though. I think that when he needs to play, he can play. He's not going to be your star of the team, but I don't think there was any expectation of him coming in like that. But in that deal, the Edwin Diaz signing was huge because now you have the 8th inning guy, Familia's back on the team, and then you close with Edwin Diaz. That's a solid closing. And I think the Mets, one of their struggles last year was that their starting pitching was good, but then when their bullpen guys would come out, it could get a little sloppy or you'd be on the edge of your seats. Now you throw Diaz in, even if he's throwing 3 balls and 0 strikes, you know he's still going to get the strikeout somehow at the end. So that's confident for Mets fans. I think that was a good signing in the offseason.
It's still very early, but I'm very shocked by what the Mets have put up in these not even 10 games yet. I was kind of expecting another year of dumpster fire.
And what I like, yes.
They look like they're going to compete.
No, they will compete. And what I like about the beginning of this the actual season so far, is that they're winning. They're not winning every game because if you remember last year, they were 12-0, 13-0 before they lost their first game, and then it went all downhill from there. So the fact that they're showing consistency by they lost 2 games so far, that's okay. You know, Mets fans, we just want to see some good wins here and there. So
as for my team,
yes,
the Yankees, we lost David Robertson to the Phillies, and our former star player Robbie Cano has to come back to New York, but wearing the orange and blue. So that was fun to watch. So we got Troy Tulowitzki. We revamped our bullpen. Zach Britton, Adam Ottavino, the first Yankee player ever to wear the number 0 on his back.
Wow.
And DJ LeMahieu, very good hitter, a great contact hitter. The thing that headlined the offseason for Yankee fans, and of course, obviously Yankee fans on social media, has been how they've treated the front office, especially on Twitter, calling Hal Steinbrenner cheap and Brian Cashman cheap, which I don't believe is true because they have a top 4 payroll in the sport. But they invited Manny Machado to the stadium for a visit. They invited Patrick Corbin for a visit. And they just didn't sign them because their price range just wasn't really what Cashman wanted to go for.
And I think they were smart not signing Manny Machado. I think Corbin would have been a good addition, but Corbin would have been an addition for any team that needed a pitcher.
And Paxton, too. They traded for James Paxton.
Yes.
That was the biggest one, I think.
But I think signing Machado, I think Manny Machado is an excellent player. I don't know if he's worth $300 million. I don't know. Am I crazy for saying that, or?
I think he's worth the $300 million, but the thing is that it says a lot that he had to go to that small of a market in San Diego to get it, because there are a lot of questions with Johnny Hustle when he said he's not Johnny Hustle.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine another player saying that.
Great first question, guys. I'm having so much fun right now. And we only hit the question 1. So this year's Hall of Fame class features Roy Halladay, Edgar Martinez, Mike Mussina, and Mariano Rivera. So do you guys think that the baseball writers did a good job voting them in?
Absolutely. I think it's a really solid class. Mariano, it was unanimous. It was one of the first in a long time.
First.
Crazy. I think that 100% they got it right. I think Roy Halladay was really big putting him in there. You think of Roy Halladay's legacy. I know he's no longer alive, which is very unfortunate. But when he would pitch against the Mets, you didn't want to see him up there because he was going to do good. Yes, and the Yankee. 2 Cy Youngs. I think he has the most complete games ever in Major League Baseball history. Incredible picks, I think, with those 2 for sure, specifically.
I want to ask you, Donnie, how much, because he was on your team. He pitched only the second career postseason no-hitter, besides Don Larson in 1956 with the Yankees. But
and I still remember that night. I'm getting actually a heavy heart just thinking about this.
Chucho
I still remember when I got the alert on my phone that Roy Halladay had passed away in a plane crash, and he absolutely deserves to be. He's a first ballot for sure, and he's also the first one to go into the Hall of Fame representing 2 teams. Yeah. He's representing both the Toronto Blue Jays and the Philadelphia Phillies, which that was just because his wife didn't know which he who knows which one he would have picked, but he had such great histories with both teams because. Toronto is where he made his name, but he had his best years in Philly with the postseason runs and everything.
Yeah.
But he had so much longer of a history in Toronto.
Yeah, definitely.
And the stuff with Edgar Martinez is long overdue. It was I believe this was his final year on the ballot.
Yeah.
It was his final year.
This was it for him. Yeah.
It was his last chance.
There's always that last push once people are getting up there.
The one hitter that could hit Mo was Edgar Martinez, and. Because Edgar was just that good of a hitter. And, of course, the big debate with him getting to the Hall of Fame was that he didn't field. He was a DH most of his career. And now it's just where the writers, like the old-time writers, it's usually the young writers now, they don't really care. But, the old writers are oh, well, he doesn't pick up a glove. He doesn't play a position. He's a DH. So it was deserving for Edgar. As for Moose.
Yes, I was going to bring that up, too. So he's also a former teammate of Mariano, correct?
Yes.
They played together for a little while. He never won a Cy Young, But still, his numbers are definitely worthy, and I think that
yeah.
proves that you don't have to be a Cy Young winner to always get into the Hall of
270
Fame.
career wins. Yeah. He was an out away from a no-hitter at Fenway Park in 2001, but Carl Everett had to end it. Again with the Red Sox. But the thing about Mussina that kind of separated him from the rest was he was a bulldog, and he was smart. He went to Stanford, and so he just had that brilliance on the mound, and he made sure that every pitch he was outsmarting you, and not even just hitters. The people in the clubhouse, the pundits, the people in the media, reporters. He always had to be like smarter than you. It kind of rubbed people the wrong way sometimes because he was always kind of bullish. But that's just how he was. He was a bulldog on the mound. Yeah. I have a little thing, too, about Mussina. You'll never see this again today. I believe this was in Baltimore. They were pitching on the road, and he was an out away from getting out of an inning. I think this was like the 7th inning. And Joe Torre comes out to signal the bullpen, and Mike Mussina turns at him and goes like this, "No, get back, get back." And Torre turns around and goes right back to the dugout. You will never see that again. You'll never see that again.
Because you'll see pitchers on the mound fighting to stay in. I mean, we've seen that plenty of times. But I think to actually have a coach listen and that much trust to his pitcher it means a lot, because a lot of times pitchers will be like, "No, keep me in." I know I'm thinking back to the flashbacks of Mets 2015, and I'm pretty sure it was Matt Harvey saying, "No, keep me in," and then ended up blowing the game. So like things like that, that's pretty significant to a Hall of Famer for sure.
But I want to say, I think the biggest thing that they got right isn't by who they put in, it's by who they kept out. I'm glad that Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds both saw a spike or a drop in their voting numbers, because I do not want to see them in the Hall of Fame, just because that's like, you can't have, I know Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are two of the greatest, but you can't have that kind of, yes, steroids weren't penalized then. But that's not fair to like the current people now that like also can't use steroids, and also like they shouldn't have like PEDs shouldn't be Hall of Fame. Like that's Hall of Shame in my mind.
No, I agree. I agree.
I'm still hoping that my favorite player, A-Rod, gets into the Hall of Fame one day.
I mean, there's iffiness on that then too, though, because we're talking about PEDs and all that.
Because he's actually been suspended.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
whereas Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, they were never suspended, but there was like. Now it's like very common knowledge that like that's what they did.
Exactly, and if you put it into today's context, if they were players in today's day and age, like they might have not.
Have either of you seen the year difference from when Barry Bonds left the Pirates and went to the Giants?
Oh, it's a completely different.
He put on
different person.
Like 60 pounds. Like
it's a different person.
5 of which were in his head. Like his literally
the
like
guy
his
was
skull.
Fast.
Like
he stole bases.
Yeah,
he stole bases.
It's literally the tale of two different players.
Club. Yeah. He was a 30-30 player.
Like he's the tale of two different players.
To end this question, like let's talk about Mariano.
Yeah.
Because Mariano's the first. Like there's a reason why closers are paid so much money today. It's because of Mo, and Mo just missed the boat with how these guys get paid now. But the thing about Mariano that headlined his career was obviously his cut fastball, which he developed in spring training, playing catch with his coach. They're just throwing the ball, and the coach is like, "The ball's moving." It's like it's moving.
That's crazy.
And he's
That's
like,
talent.
and he's telling him like, "Mo, throw this, throw it," because Mariano threw upper 90s. Well, when he was young, when he was in his younger age, and like in the late 90s, but a lot of people couldn't hit him. There are only certain players that could. I told you, Edgar Martinez, Daniel Murphy was a really hit Mariano well, because Daniel Murphy stayed back on the ball, and he would just slap the ball to left field.
Yeah, and I mean Daniel Murphy is great. And as much as he is a heartbreaking story for a New York Mets player, he's great. But I think just bringing it back about Mo, if you saw the clips of him and his family celebrating, definitely inspiring. He was deserving, 100%, the most deserving, I'd say.
Well, congrats to the Hall of Fame class of 2019. So with the American League having 3 powerhouse teams and the National League kind of having a more competitive feel, who do you guys think are more contenders and pretenders. You know how they do that in like basketball? Sometimes contenders and pretenders. Let's do this for baseball.
All right, Johnny, you take it first.
I want to start with, I think, the biggest pretender in all of baseball every year, year in and year out, is the New York Yankees. They can never seem to actually do anything. No matter how much talent they get, they always find a way to mess it up. Like, and it drives me nuts because you always hear 28 rings.
It's 27,
27,
but thank you.
27. Oh, it's
But
because they're
thank you.
looking for 28.
Yeah.
It's the chase for 20. It's been the chase since like 09.
Yeah. But other than 09, how long's it been?
10
They're
years.
they're like the Dallas Cowboys, being
They
like,
are
oh,
kinda like
America's team,
And
haven't
the
won
Steelers.
since the 80s.
I mean, between the Yankees being pretenders, I mean that's the way they've changed their business model over the years. I think that the whole pretender garbage is going to end soon because, like, Cashman has very, very smart people.
They're gonna need some serious
And analytics.
pitching.
Analytics has what defined the team, you know. But I'll go with a contender here. A true contender in my mind is probably going to be St. Louis. I'll go with the Cardinals
Yeah.
for a contender
Yeah.
with the acquisition of Paul Goldschmidt.
Yes, big.
Still can't believe the Diamondbacks traded them.
I can't. Well, you know, the Diamondbacks. They unloaded everybody except for Zach Greinke for some reason.
Because no one wants his contract. He's the highest paid player in baseball
Yeah.
yearly.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, and Zach Greinke too. I mean, Zach Greinke I think is an incredible pitcher, but I think leaving Zach Greinke in a smaller district is better. Zach Greinke is a pitcher who lets a big city get into his head. He needs to be pitching in a smaller
Yeah.
field like Arizona, because when he played for the Dodgers, things
He was the number 4 then. And
yeah,
he
it
was a
didn't work out
constant
well.
mess.
They said he does, like, it really does get in his head. He's the type of player that it will succeed better on a smaller field. But I think another contender is definitely the Brewers this year. I think
yeah.
that they definitely have a shot. I mean, Christian Yelich is off to an amazing start already. And I think just another thing is that they all around just have a solid team. Definitely another contender, I think for sure, are the Phillies. Hate to say it. I think the Nationals, who knows though? I think that NL East, because I'm just so enticed in it that I really think that it's going to be a 3 out of 5 teams in there, which I'm throwing my Mets in that equation, are possible contenders of doing something this year. I think the Yankees, if they can get healthy, they can be contenders and not pretenders. I have to disagree with that. I think that if they can get healthy, they can put a team out there that
It's
is
so
solid.
early. You can't count the Yankees out. I
I
know
know.
you guys want to, but
I
come
already
on.
am.
You can't be doing that to me. You
But-
can't be doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But a surprise a pretender that I'm thinking of, the LA Angels out west, because guess what, Mike Trout. This is not basketball. This is not Durant going to Golden State and having them win a title. This is Mike Trout being probably the only guy really there, except for maybe Pujols. And
Yeah, but even so, Poulos is, age is growing on him too. He's, like, it's just like, I think.
He's never been the same since he hurt his, I think it was patellar tendon.
something like that. They do have Shohei.
I remember in high school I hurt mine, so I can't even imagine what he's going through.
They do have Shohei Ohtani, who is recovering from Tommy John. He can't pitch, but I believe he can hit at some point.
Yes.
And of course, they signed a bunch of, a couple of pitchers over the offseason, especially Matt Harvey, who is surprisingly throwing 95, but he cannot locate.
Pretender.
Yeah.
Because that's what thoracic outlet syndrome can do, which is that's like a death knell to any pitcher.
I think the Angels need to grow a team around Trout. If you're going to throw that much money at a player, back them up somehow. If they want to contend, they are on the pretender side. I agree.
Yeah, because not just a few years ago, they had a really good team around a very young Trout at the time. They had Pujols when he was still he was doing better. They had Josh Hamilton. Remember Josh Hamilton?
He was great.
Yeah.
That's when they traded from Texas. He came from, right, Hamilton? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So with so much hype around both New York teams and of course the Phillies, what do you guys think are you most excited for this year? What is the most highly anticipated thing that you're excited for?
Is Bryce Harper going to produce?
I personally, like, if you're asking me, I think there's a very good chance of that just with how he's a hitter and how Citizens Bank Park is built. Right field is very shallow, and left field is also very shallow. It's a hitter's ballpark. And, like, I think you can already see by he's played 3 games there and has already hit 2 home runs.
No, it is a hitter's ballpark. Hate to name drop my favorite player of all time, who is unfortunately no longer a playing Met, is David Wright. He hit amazingly at Citizens Bank Park, and I would love when he played against the Phillies to watch that.
And he hit off against Mo, too.
Yes.
David Wright. Very good
That's
also.
him. Yes, and that's what I think is interesting about New York at the moment, if we're just going to switch gears for a second. David Wright was the face of the franchise. Even when he's been injured since 2016, the team still looked to David Wright for his off-the-field type of inspiration. But now he is working somewhat in the front office of doing things. But who is now the face of the Mets? Because I'm going with Noah Syndergaard. Not Noah Syndergaard. I take that back.
I was about to correct you.
I'm going with Jacob deGrom because, I mean, this man is amazing. If you saw his debut, he went 14 strikeouts, which is his highest that he's ever produced, plus a home run.
Yeah.
I mean,
And no one has figured him out.
no.
No one can figure him out. It's like Seaver all over. It's like Tom Seaver.
Yeah.
Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan. I mean, it's honestly just incredible.
Yes, and bringing back Noah Syndergaard then, the guys who are following him in the second, third, fourth slots, I mean, they're producing too. So I think it's just when it comes to the Mets, they got to hit, which they can do again with Pete Alonso. I think Jeff McNeil is going to have a season on the Mets. I literally am anticipating an all-star, at least a run for him, because I think if he can really produce, and he's kind of in a weird situation where they have him rotating between outfield and infield. I think if they really find his sweet spot of where he should permanently be, or use him for both positions, he's going to be good. But
Yeah, obviously
Phillies, though, I have to say, Donnie,
Yeah.
they're a
Phillies,
threat.
It's going to be a
threat.
great division.
I-
An
Yeah.
absolutely great division.
I guess we all are just excited for how our teams are going to be, and just how things will stack up with Harper, Machado, the Yankees, Aaron Judge. I'll say the Yankees again.
And that's my thing too. I do hope that the Yankees get better. There are players who are injured at the moment. I do hope that they return from it's called the IL, the injury list. I hope they return from the IL because it is fun
I
to
hope
watch
so,
the
too.
Yankees play good baseball.
For my sanity, I hope they do. But yeah, so all right, guys. Well, that was it for the panel questions. It was really fun. I'll tell you that. Now we're going to move on to a discussion with some campus sports experts. Let's take it to our reporter, Javon Dejoie, who spoke with a member of SJU's Red Zone for a recap of the year.
What's up, guys? It's Giovanni Dejoie here at Carnesecca Arena. We're here with Todd Fagan. Todd, how you doing today?
Good, thank you for having me.
Tell us about how Red Zone got to participate in March Madness's bid.
So we were thinking about, because last time when we made the NCAA tournament, we had a bunch of students that went down to North Carolina to go watch the team play. We had a group meeting, and we discussed it that we think we should definitely send the students to show our respect and admiration for St. John's basketball and really show them our support throughout the year. So we were able to send students on. We had a flight, went to the team hotel, showed their support, went over to the arena, and even though they didn't win, it was a moment of a lifetime experience, and they definitely appreciated our support at the game.
Absolutely, I completely agree. So tell us about what you guys have in store for men's and women's softball and baseball season.
Yes, so yesterday we had Chick-fil-A sandwiches and ice cream, which is, of course, a big hit for all the students here.
Can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A.
Exactly, right? So we are going to have another giveaway. We're going to have a shirt giveaway. I'm not going to get into detail about that because surprises are always great. So we will have a shirt detail as well for one of the games for men's baseball and women's softball, as well as some different food giveaways too. So keep in store with us, and you're definitely going to be surprised, and you'll love it, I promise.
Great. So being that you are a senior now, tell us one of your most memorable memories these past 4 years.
Besides the March Madness game, which was definitely up there for me, probably beating Duke last year in Madison Square Garden. Didn't really expect it at all. I still have chills just thinking about it, and just being with friends and being so shell-shocked about what actually happened was extraordinary. So that's probably my top bet right there, the Duke game.
Definitely. So, final question. What do you guys have in store in terms of the future? What's the deal there?
So we have a mentorship program that we're trying to implement now. It's just so we show role models who are really passionate about Red Zone and the School Spirit Committee. So we're transitioning to them. So we'll bring them to our different committee meetings and show them really how Red Zone's run and see what they're really passionate about to make that transition easy for when you interview for all these positions for this upcoming semester.
Thank you so much for your time, Todd. We really appreciate it. This has been Giovanni Joie at Carneseca Arena. Hope you guys got a little bit of an inside scoop of what's going on with Red Zone. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks for the recap, Gio. Here's to hoping that next year we'll amp it up real right. All right, so coming up, we have an SJU baseball and softball report from our very own Dario Tolentino. But first, a quick commercial break. Welcome back. Now, we're going to take it to Dario Tolentino reporting about the upcoming season.
Hey guys, I'm Dario Tolentino here at Jack Kaiser Stadium with your update on SJU baseball and softball. So in baseball news, after a rough start, the SJU baseball team has won 8 of the last 9 to improve to a record of 18-11. Their most recent one comes after a walk-off double by Brandon Broussard in the 11th inning against LIU Brooklyn. And in softball news, the women's team has a record of 19-16 after winning 5 of their last 7 games. So far, they've been dominating in conference play with a record of 7-1, and their next 6 of 7 games comes against those Big East teams, including Seton Hall, DePaul, and Villanova. So, that's all it is for the update here in softball and baseball. My name is Dario Tolentino here at Jack Kaiser Stadium. Back to you guys in studio.
Thank you, Dario. I have high hopes for SJU coming into this season. Well, guys, we can't wrap this up without mentioning this year's World Series. Who is going to win the 2019 World Series? I have my prediction, but I want to hear yours first.
All right, should we start it from over there? Let's see
So-
a drum roll.
My wishful thinking is immediately Phillies, because as we've talked about before, one of the best lineups in baseball now, 1-8, and then we have very good pitching staff and very good bullpen behind them. I think because as we mentioned before, Dallas Keuchel and Craig Kimbrell still free agents. Mm-hmm. The Phillies are trying bad to get them. If they get them to, even more, because that's now Dallas Keuchel would be the 2 or 3 in Philly. So there's still a lot of good potential there. But I think I probably just have to go with the Red Sox if I had to put money down. Just because you can't do better than that lineup, especially with Mookie, Xander, JD Martinez. They're too good.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So I'm not going to go Red Sox, even though last year, mid-season, I said Red Sox World Series done, and I was happy to see that result. Sorry. I know as a New Yorker, I shouldn't say that, but I am also not a New York Yankee fan, so, we can let it slide. But this season is someone that I purposely didn't bring up in my contenders because I wanted to bring it up now.
Yeah.
The Houston Astros.
Oh,
No one brought
yeah.
that up before. I mean, you just signed Justin Verlander to a great extension, who I think, even at his age, is probably one of the best pitchers in baseball at the moment.
Father Time spares no one.
I don't know, though. I think Justin Verlander is a fighter. I think he's going to fight through the season.
His rejuvenation has been unreal. I was so sad when everything fell apart in Detroit. Because, they had JD Martinez, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, and Justin Verlander. And that was just at the start of it.
Yeah.
That was just the superstars that they had.
Yeah.
And to see everything fall apart with an aging Miguel and then the aging Verlander, I'm very happy to see him get back to where he once was.
And I think Verlander plus the rest of that starting rotation that they have going on there is phenomenal. And then you have Alex Bregman, who is one of the greatest players I think in the league as well. I know we talk about him a lot. I mean, he did decent at the home run derby last year, whatever. But I think that different game. But I'm thinking just to his power and his strength. He's tiny. He's not a big guy. Alex Bregman is. I'm way over him in height wise.
Yeah, he's sub 6 foot.
No, he's. Is he? No, he's not. No.
Your best guess is as good as mine.
I think he's 5'9". We'll have to fact check this after.
That's what I'm saying. He's under 6 foot.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm probably taller than him, but I'm saying he's powerful, and I think that team could really take it all the way. I do think if the Yankees though come back strong, they could possibly be contenders, as much as that breaks my heart to say. But I think National League-wise, the Dodgers are always going to be contenders, in my opinion. I think they're always going to be a powerhouse team. But if not, Phillies or even Washington could really step it up. I'm not saying my Mets are going to win the World Series. I'm going to say my Mets will probably get to some type of wild card game, and we will call it a great season. So that is my take on this.
So we have Red Sox, tragically. We have
Astros,
and You know I'm going to say Yankees. Who else? I'm not doing anybody else here. Come on.
You don't even want to think about it.
It's time, man. It's time. Got Aaron Judge, who is a prime MVP candidate. You have a great lineup that needs to come back. I am not judging this team until some of these guys come back from the injured list. I am not.
But who you got throwing the ball?
Throwing the ball.
Exactly.
We got Tanaka.
Yeah, but you
we
can't
got
have Tanaka
Paxton,
pitch every
we got
game. That's the
Paxton,
problem.
We've got Happ. We got Sevy coming back real soon. And the thing with the Red Sox, the Red Sox accomplished everything that there was to accomplish in any major league season last year. There is a market correction, and the Astros lost half their rotation. I don't think they want Dallas Keuchel back. And they've got they got Verlander and Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
They got a great lineup. Their bullpen is a little but like, I'm telling you, it's the Yankees' time.
I don't think it is, but I
It's the
hope
Yankees'
for your sake that it is, and I hope that when we have this conversation in
Hey.
the fall, the three of us, that we will see maybe not a Yankees win, but we'll see.
They always find a way to choke. That's all I'm saying.
No, and I'm saying, and the Yankees last year at points looked very promising, but it just didn't work out for them. So maybe this will be their year if they get better. Because there's 7 or 9 players. 7. How many players are hurt now?
11.
11. I thought it was, last I checked it was 9, but
And nice way to cap off. Nothing makes my day better than watching the ending of the 09 World Series with Shane Victorino, and nothing makes me feel better than Luis Castillo dropping the pop-up in 09 and the 2000 World Series. Mike Piazza can't hit the ball out against
don't
Mo.
come for Mike Piazza like that. That's wrong.
All right. Well, that's our show. I want to thank Missy and Jordan for joining me today on my panel.
No, thanks for having us.
Thank
It
you
was
so
much
much.
fun.
Really, it was fun. It was tame.
It's a whole lot of fun.
For now.
Very tame.
Oh no, it will get real off cameras once these go down.
Yeah.
After credits.
Donnie's taking off the tie.
For all of the latest content, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at WRED-TV. Also, be sure to check out WRED-TV.com to keep up with all of our episodes and find out how you can be a part of our productions. From all of us here, I'm Anthony Baventa. Have a good night.